Hi everyone, this is Terry at terryscraftroom.com, and today we're going to make this beautiful kite card. Now I've got foil paper underneath here as a accent, so let's get started. So what we have here is a card base that is 11 inches by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. But we're going to set that aside for now. And then we've got a card mat that is 5 1/4 by 4, and then a second mat of designer series paper that is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. We have a piece of white whisper white paper that is 3 1/2 by 5, and we have a piece of colored cardstock, and this happens to be Night of Navy, that is 11 inches by 4 inches. And that's the piece we're going to start with. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to get our trimmer out and use the scoring blade, and we're going to score this at the 5 1/2 mark. Okay. Then we are going to, since this is 4 inches wide, we're going to make a mark at the 2-inch point here and at the middle, and then at the other end. So both ends and the middle are going to have a mark at the 2-inch point. And I need to redo this mark because I can't even see it yet. Okay. There we go. Now we're going to measure up from the end here to 3 3/4 inches and place a mark on both sides. 3 3/4 inches. We're going to turn around and do the same thing. 3 3/4 inches. Make my marks a little bit more pronounced here. And 3 3/4 inches. So now I'm going to connect. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to get our trimmer again, and I'm going to score from this 3 3/4 inch part mark to this 3 3/4 inch mark. I'm going to do the same going the other way. So this 3 3/4 inch mark, then line it up with this one. Let me make sure I'm on camera here. There we go. So we have a crisscross here. Now I'm going to cut from this 3 3/4 inch mark to the 2-inch mark. So what we're making is our kite. And I'm going to cut from this 3 3/4 inch mark down to the 2-inch mark. Okay. And same thing on this side. And the fourth one. There we go. So now we end up with something that looks like this. So now let's fold our lines here. And so I'm going to fold my diagonals. I seem to have lost my other bone folder. Fold my other diagonal. And then what I'm going to do with the center one is I'm going to fold it, but then I'm going to fold it the other way because I want to train it to go the other way. So now when I fold it in, it will all fold right in together. And then we want it to just give it a good burnishing there. There we go. And that's what we have. Okay. So we're going to set that aside for now. Now we're going to work on our insides of our kite. And what we need are, here's our mat pieces. And so we need 2 pieces that are 3 1/4 by 1 3/4, and then we need 2 pieces that are 1 3/4 by 1 1/2. And then for our designer paper, we need 2 pieces that are 1 3/8 by 2 7/8, and 2 pieces that are 1 3/8 by 1 1/8. So let me get my trimmer here, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut from the upper left to the lower right corner on the first one. So there's our first one. Now the second one we want to cut the opposite way, so we want to cut from the upper right to the lower left. And so this is why I set this here, the other one here, the first one there, so I can see which way I cut it, so I make sure that I don't cut this one the same way. So I have them mirror images of each other. And I'm going to do the same thing with these two and with my designer series paper. Just like that. And just like that. It doesn't really matter which way you cut the first one, as long as you cut the second one in the opposite direction. And this will actually give you enough for 2 sets of kites. And I'll show you why that is in just a second. There we go. Okay. So here we have so what we want to do is we're actually going to use, let me put it this way, you'll be able to see the kite in the middle here. So what we're going to use is these 4 from the 2 different sets. And then you have these 4 that can still be used if we turn them over and turn them over for a second kite. Just like that. Okay. So I'm not actually going to use this gingham for my kite. I'm going to use these flowers here because the gingham is going to be my background, as you saw earlier. So I didn't want to use the same gingham as my kite, but I wanted to use it for demonstration purposes. So now I'm going to, let's take and put one of these kites off to the side. And I'm going to adhere these pieces down onto my kite. Now this foil that I'm using is the copper colored foil from Stampin' Up. In the other 2 cards that I showed you at the beginning, I used, one of them I used the old olive colored foil from the Noble Peacock collection. And I also used, on the blue card, I believe I used Grapefruit Grove foil, which was a freebie foil from last year's celebration catalog. So you can't get that anymore, but this copper colored foil you can, and the green foil you can. So now you can see things taking shape. So we're going to put this on the front of our kite, just like so. And like so. And then the last one. And there's the front of our kite. Now, what to do with the inside. So the inside, that's what our little piece of 3.5 by 5 inch piece of paper was for. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to make a mark at the top and the bottom at 1 3/4 of an inch. And then we're going to make a mark on both sides from just one end at 1.5 inch. And we're going to get our trimmer again, and we're going to connect the dots here. And then this should fit right on the inside of our kite. I will tell you that to make sure, and I'm telling you this because I've done it, make sure that you, when you put this on the cut on the inside of your kite, that you check your front so that you're not putting it over here. Because like I said, I've done it. I did it in a class I was teaching just this morning. So there we go. There's our kite. Now, the other thing we need for a kite is a tail. So what we can do is we can take our tail and take a little bit of tape. And so if you were going to just give this kite as a card by itself and not put it on a card like we're going to do, you would maybe want to put your tail underneath on the inside, underneath your white cardstock before you put your white cardstock down. But since I am going to be putting this onto a card front, I'm just putting the tail on the back, and then I'm going to because that you won't be able to see that. So now I'm going to take my hot glue gun, and I've already made 3 little bows here. I'm going to place them down, make sure they don't stick to my paper. Maybe I'll move the paper out of the way. Okay. And now my 3 little bows are down. And let's trim my tail. There we go. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to decorate my kite. Well, let's put the rest of the card together and put the kite on, and then we'll put the front on the kite. So we'll do that, and then we'll put our 2 pieces of mat down. And you notice that this gingham is only about 1/8 of an inch smaller than the Night of Navy, because I only wanted a very small border around it. And so you only have about 1/16 of an inch showing around the outside of the gingham. And then I left a little bit bigger border around the navy, between the navy and the card itself. Okay, so now I'm going to place some glue onto the back of my kite to get this all placed down onto my card. And I think we'll just make it look like about there. There we go. See how the kite flips up? Well, in order to stop that from happening, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these Velcro pieces and cut one of them in half. Actually, I'm cutting them into quarters. And then I'm going to stick this down right here on the tip, right there, so you see it. And then stick that down. Now I can really stick it down. There we go. Now that'll stay shut. Okay. So now for my flowers. I'm going to put flowers on the inside of here, daisies on the outside, I'm sorry, on the outside. Now the key to making daisies look real. First you want to bend your flowers backwards. And there's a second step, is fold them up. Because if you don't fold them up, all you have is a backward facing flower. But if you fold them up, it gives it a little bit more dimension. It gives it more of the actual daisy shape. So that's the key, is taking that second step and folding them up right there at that inner circle. There we go. Now I'm going to, so I have 2 each of 2 different size daisies. So I'm going to just start layering them and offsetting their petals. There we go. Isn't that pretty? And then for the center, I have these faceted gems. And we're going to put one of these faceted gems right in the middle of our daisy. Right there. Now I'm going to just give me some glue right there. Put it right in the middle of my kite. And there you have it. a cute little kite card. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Check out terryscraftroom.com for the dimensions of everything you need for this card. And I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my channel.